Don't touch me, human. Her voice was sharp enough to cut steel. I froze mid-step. The cell around her shimmered with layered energy fields, translucent walls of pale violet light forming a cage that hummed with quiet menace. Beyond it stretched the cavernous chamber of the Theron Dominion flagship, a warship large enough to blot out entire cities. She stood in the center of her containment field like a queen exiled from her throne.
Tall, silver-skinned,
Eyes glowing with a faint internal starlight. Her armor was cracked in several places, dark energy burns streaking across its surface. But she still carried herself like someone who had never bowed to anything. Not even now. Not even captured. I lowered my hand slowly. Wasn't planning to, I said calmly. Her eyes narrowed. You reek of primitive atmosphere. That's Earth for you. The guards, 3 towering Theron soldiers with elongated frames and blade-like forearms, shifted restlessly near the chamber entrance. They didn't understand English, but tone translated across species. Contempt was universal. I was not here as a rescuer. I was here as leverage. The Theron Dominion had launched an aggressive expansion campaign across the outer systems. Earth had remained neutral. Too young, too cautious, too aware of its fragile place in galactic politics. Until now. Because inside that containment field stood Princess Valara of the Aerith sovereignty, direct heir to one of the most technologically advanced civilizations in the known galaxy. And the Theron had taken her. If she died in captivity, her empire would retaliate with annihilation-level force. If Earth interfered directly, we would be crushed between empires.
So they sent me.
Officially, I was a military envoy. Unofficially, I was something else. The last contingency. She turned her gaze away from me deliberately. I require no assistance from a lesser species. That's good, I replied. Because I'm not here to assist you. Her eyes snapped back to mine. Explain. I'm here to prevent a war. Her expression hardened. My capture guarantees one. Not necessarily. I stepped closer to the containment barrier, studying its harmonic frequencies.
Advanced.
But not invincible. If you die here, your people burn half the sector. They will. And if they do, I continued, the Theron will respond in kind. Then the border systems ignite. Trade routes collapse. Defense alliances fracture. She watched me carefully now. You speak as if you've calculated this. I have. That part was true. What she didn't know was that I wasn't just a soldier. I was Earth's last strategic asset. Project Lazarus. Genetically augmented. Neural enhancements. Embedded predictive algorithms bonded directly to my sensory cortex. Built not to conquer, but to survive what others couldn't. Earth's silent shield. You are not ordinary, she observed quietly.
No.
Then what are you? I gave her a small, humorless smile. Hope. She almost laughed. From a human? You'd be surprised. Middle. The threat behind the war. 3 days passed before the Theron High Executor agreed to negotiations. I stood in the central command chamber, surrounded by angular architecture and hovering holographic tactical projections. The executor loomed across from me, massive, armored, eyes burning like twin suns. You are insignificant, he declared flatly. Probably, I replied, but I'm useful. You propose what? A transfer. His gaze sharpened. You would trade? Yes. For what value? For the princess. The chamber went silent. You, he asked slowly.
Me.
The executor studied me as if examining an insect. You are not worth a royal heir. Depends what I am. He leaned forward slightly. Clarify. I activated a small device on my wrist. Instantly, the chamber lights flickered. The holographic displays scrambled. Their ship's internal systems glitched for precisely 1.8 seconds. Then, everything stabilized. The executor's eyes widened slightly. You infiltrated our systems. I didn't infiltrate. I corrected. I mapped. Impossible. Your encryption matrices are built on harmonic cycling algorithms. Impressive, but predictable. The truth? My neural implants had analyzed their architecture the moment I stepped aboard. Project Lazarus wasn't just physical enhancement. It was adaptive warfare intelligence. I stepped closer. If your war escalates, Earth will fall. We know that. The executor did not deny it. But if I remain, I continued, I give you leverage. You are offering yourself as hostage. Yes. For peace. For delay. He considered this. Why? Because Earth couldn't survive a galactic war. Because humanity was still crawling among giants. Because if Valara died, everything would burn. But I didn't say that. Instead, I said, because I'd rather bleed than watch billions burn. Silence. Then, accepted. The princess's fury. They informed her an hour later. Her containment field dissolved. She stepped out immediately, eyes blazing. You would imprison yourself? She demanded. Yes. You presume I need saving.
No.
I presume the galaxy needs stability. You arrogant. Don't touch me, human. She froze. Realization dawned slowly. I smiled faintly. Feels different now, doesn't it? Her anger shifted, not gone. Focused. You are not doing this for me.
No.
For your species. Yes. And you believe you can survive here alone? I met her gaze steadily. Yes. Because I had no choice. She stepped closer. You misunderstand Aerith law. I probably do. A life debt exists. I blinked. I am not in your debt. You are offering yourself in my place. That's strategy, not sacrifice. She tilted her head slightly. In my culture, they are often the same. Before I could respond, Theron guards surrounded us. She was escorted toward a departure vessel. I was escorted deeper into the flagship. As she passed me, she spoke softly enough that only I could hear. You do not belong here. Neither do you. That is not what I meant. Alone among enemies. Captivity was different when chosen. My containment chamber lacked energy fields. They relied instead on surveillance and suppression fields to dampen enhanced abilities. They underestimated my adaptability. Days turned into weeks. I observed, listened, mapped. The Theron were not acting out of mere ambition. They were afraid. Intercepted transmissions revealed something far worse than imperial expansion. Entire systems were going dark beyond their borders. Not conquered. Erased. Ships vanished. Planets silent. Energy signatures collapsing into void. Not war. Consumption. Something was coming. And the Theron believed only total territorial control would give them the resources to survive it. They weren't villains. They were desperate. I requested audience with the executor again. You have no leverage, he said. I have information.
He paused.
Explain. Your expansion isn't about conquest. It's about preparation. His silence confirmed it. What is coming? I asked.
He hesitated.
Then activated a projection. A region of space, warped, distorted. Stars dimming. Matter collapsing unnaturally. We do not know, he admitted. But it advances. How far? 8 sectors. My blood ran cold. That included Earth. You cannot stop it alone, I said. We will try. You'll fail. His eyes flared. You presume much. I calculate much. He studied me carefully. You propose alliance? Yes. With your insignificant world? With all worlds. The return of the princess. 2 weeks later, alarms tore through the flagship. Energy fluctuations spiked across long-range sensors. The anomaly had accelerated, faster than predicted, and emerging directly toward contested space. The executor ordered full mobilization. I was restrained and escorted to a secured deck. But something unexpected happened. A ship breached their perimeter defenses. Not attacking, demanding communication. Aerith's signature. Princess Valara appeared on screen. You have my human, she said coldly. He offered himself. And now I offer something in return. The executor's eyes narrowed. You return for him? I return for survival. She transmitted data. Advanced energy models. Quantum harmonics. The anomaly structure. Aerith had been studying it for decades. It is not destruction, she explained. It is a dimensional predator. The chamber fell silent. It consumes energy-dense civilizations, she continued. The more advanced we become, the more visible we are to it. The executor spoke slowly. You propose cooperation? Yes. With humans?
She paused.
Then said, with him. My chest tightened. She continued. He understands both your architecture and ours. Combined, we may construct a harmonic defense barrier. The executor looked at me. You withheld this knowledge. I didn't have it. Valara met my eyes across light years. You should not have stayed. I told you I could survive. You were wrong. Climax, the edge of oblivion. The anomaly arrived sooner than expected. From observation decks, it appeared like a distortion in space itself, a ripple that devoured starlight. Ships caught at its edge simply vanished. No explosion, no debris, erasure. Theron and Aerith fleets formed defensive lines. Earth ships arrived too, smaller, fragile, but present. I stood beside Valara on the executor's command deck. You could have stayed safe, I said. You could have let me remain prisoner.
Fair.
We worked together rapidly, merging Theron power cores with Aerith harmonic modulation and Earth's adaptive AI algorithms. Project Lazarus interfaced directly with the system. Pain flared through my neural implants as I synchronized tri-species technology. If this fails, the executor said quietly, all sectors fall. It won't, I replied, because it couldn't. We initiated the harmonic pulse. The fleet fired in unison. A wave of structured energy collided with the anomaly. For a moment, nothing. Then the distortion shuddered, stalled. The dimensional predator recoiled, not destroyed, but diverted, redirected into uninhabited void. Cheers erupted across the command deck. We had done it. Together. Lengthy ending. What hope truly means. The battle was over. But the future had just begun. In the weeks following the anomaly's retreat, something unprecedented happened. The Theron Dominion publicly acknowledged vulnerability. The Aerith sovereignty opened restricted archives to shared research. And Earth, once dismissed as primitive, became the connective tissue between empires. I stood on the surface of Aerith Prime months later, beneath a sky of shifting auroras. Valara joined me quietly. You could return home now, she said. I will. But not permanently.
No.
She studied me carefully. You were never merely a soldier.
No.
You were built for this. Yes. She stepped closer. When I said, don't touch me, human, I believed your kind weak. I've heard worse. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Silence. Then she said softly, you are not Earth's last hope. No, you are its first. That hit deeper than any wound. You stayed, she continued, not for glory, not for reward, but because you refused to let fear dictate the future. I didn't want extinction. Neither did we. The galaxy had changed. 3 civilizations now operated under a shared defense pact. Joint research stations formed along border systems. Trade opened. Cultural exchange began cautiously, but steadily. Fear had united us, but cooperation would define us. She turned toward me fully. In Aerith tradition, when one species alters the fate of another, a bond is formed. That sounds serious. It is. She extended her hand, not as royalty, not as debtor, but as equal. Will you stand beside us? I looked at the horizon, alien and beautiful, then at her. I will. Her hand clasped mine.
Warm. Alive.
And this time, she didn't pull away. The galaxy had almost ended. Instead, it had found something rare. Not dominance, not superiority, but shared survival. And it began with one simple refusal. Don't touch me, human. Funny how first impressions change. Because in the end, she didn't just allow me to touch her hand. She trusted humanity to help shape the stars. And that trust, that was worth more than any empire.
The end.